All right. Hello, and welcome to the Hybrid Theory Racing League Division Mestre de Tudo. And before I continue, I want to do a quick audio check about the stream. So there's going to be a pause before I can really get going. About the stream, so get going. Yes, I think I can hear myself, so that is good news. About the stream, so and yep, let me just quickly send the stream link on our Discord channel for the folks in our community. Oops, I All right, the basics have been sorted out, and welcome to. Why can't I? All right. Oh, yep, I have the audio back, so that was just a small scare. As welcome to Division Mestre de Tudo, which is Portuguese for Master of All, and which means this is a no assist division. So the drivers are all driving with no assist at all in this game. So which also includes the racing line, and so it is rather going to be very interesting. I am most certainly looking forward to turn one, which is in at Mexico, and we are here in Mexico, and the start finish straight in Mexico is really long, but these drivers, especially the likes of Well Anyway, Redstone Derp, and Jishnu, have really sweat this track out without any assists, considering the times that they have put in. Well, anyway, with a pole position, provisional pole rather, 17.3, 2/10 of the leader is Redstone. Or make that oh no! All right, so that comment aged pretty soon, as Redstone just steals pole from. Uh, well, anyway, and that is a very commanding lap that he has put off a 16.7, as we see an Alfa Romeo also crossing the line. Well, anyway, it just gets squirrely at the exit. I think he is going to head back into the pits. Yes, that is the case. There are a couple of Aston Martins as well, probably going to give each other the slipstream, but Shrikant Das has retired from the session somewhere. Where did he crash? He was right on my screen. Oh, he crashed at the final corner. I think we'll get oxidized rays. Might just be crossing him, and his car has vanished from the track. So that is, well, the slipstream or the tow plan for the Aston Martin boys didn't really work out for them, as drivers are really measuring all the lengths and breadth of the track. Mestre having invalidated his lap, so he has all the liberty to escape, to explore all the escape routes, and fairly cutting all the through the track here. Oh, being mindful of the markers there, so good, not caught in 4K and caught, or rather caught racing fair, was it? So, or partially fair, Smith. So let's hope you have a good race there. As the rest of the drivers V6 with on purple middle sector, not sure how true that is, but which there is Smith Shah, who is come back to the pits. Yes, indeed, he was a driver. Let's see where Smith V6 puts his car. Buongiorno, Shiv Schema. V6 Ghost Piece 2 with a 160 early top 117s, or I think 169. Oh, yep, that is a early 117, 2.5 tenths of the provisional post. So it is going to be an interesting race between the top four. They find themselves within a second of each other, but a second is indeed a lot in Formula One. But the front two are really very close, and expect well anyway also to further improve on his time there, as drivers just taking this minute before they come out of the pit for one final run. ABS off as well. As yes, it feels, that is how it feels to me right now as well, because I really am still struggling to find some of my momentum on this comms box, and it would have been nice if you had been there to help me get back in shape. But nonetheless, I miss you, my co-commentator. Right, and Quick Killer has had a spin, and probably all these drivers are on their out laps at the moment. So nobody really. Let's see who we want to pick. Let's pick one who's going to put a really good time. I think we could have picked well anyway for that time, but we'll come back to him. He is improving on his time by a few hundredths. Let's see where he finds his car later, as there is a Mercedes of Quick Killer that's going to start the lap. So let's ride on board this no assist lap with Quick Killer and see how he does. DRS wide open for Quick Killer, approaching turn one of the longest straights. You need to really have a low downforce. I couldn't see the braking boards, and he misses that corner completely, and that, well, welcome to the world, Chips. That's how it's going to be always, even whether you are in school, university, or at the workplace. That's how we function. That's how we roll, right? Thanks, Chips, for those words of motivation. I really need that. Nice, kind words of encouragement. As there is Vishnu, I believe the only Aston Martin left on the grid right now, with Srikanth having retired. Let's ride on board with him and see what kind of times he puts as he goes down to turn one, locks up massively. Third gear needs to get line. You really need to get a good exit on this run down the second straight. DRS again open for him, probably compromising on the straight line speed and going for a higher downforce setup, I suspect, but I'm not very sure because I couldn't see the top speeds of this. As he now approaches a tricky hairpin corner, the middle sector is really the technical part of this track. Now approaching the SS section, takes his on sixth gear. Is he not wanting to downshift to fifth? DRS open yet again on the back straight, as he now approaches, locks up massively, misses the apex, and another tricky hairpin. Easy to lock your front left, as now navigating the penultimate final set of corners. Third gear, power down early fairly, and crosses the line with a 600th improvement on his time, and still 8 tenths off the pace of the leaders. Let's see, Redstone Derp finishes his qualifying with a 16.7, and so does well anyway, just 1.5 tenths, and I think I missed him crossing the line big time. And V6 is also on a lap, but let's follow the drivers that are coming to finish their time. Smitstar with a, I think, yep, that is qualifying over for Smitstar as well, and so are the cars behind. So I think V6. Alright, Redstone, Vishnu and V6 to be your top 3. Let's see how that works out. But on the screen, these comments are really hiding me out. So I'm going to put my YouTube as well so that I can read your comments thoroughly. Yes, and you are right. Well, anyway, is a strong contender, and from the way I I have raced with him probably just a few laps, but from the looks of it, I am quite sure that he is a no assist driver for quite a long time, and it's not that he is being forced to run no assist like the other drivers on this grid. But I never know. That's my hunch. Uh, Yep, Chip. Do tune in later, or maybe you can have a look at the race start and probably then see how, then go back to your work. हाँ आप वहाँ बाहर रख दीजिए, मैं थोड़ी देर में ले लूँगा. नहीं. Alright, sorry viewers for that trouble. I am just going to be right back to you as I couldn't run through the grid as well. VFix has stolen pole from Redstone Derb. And GRL went anyway. Abhishek and Jishnu, I believe the top 5. I think it's going to be a good fight for the top 5. And sorry viewers, I got distracted from the stream due to some calls that I really had to take. But I am really looking forward to this race because, well, barring one driver, rest, all of them have made the shift to no assist, but a lot of these drivers have also sweat it out quite a lot. So yeah, probably I remember VFix also doing no racing line in his career and single player games, but let's see, he is on pole and it's going to be an interesting dash to turn 1 and see how these drivers navigate that. We did have another no assist race last week, Silverstone. We couldn't stream that, but that was also one interesting race. But something that is there is not to be too hard on the drivers with the weather settings and make sure that we are on dry conditions because, well, baby steps to Mestre de Tudo, right? So that's how we roll. But let's see, as formation lap is underway, as no telemetry shouldn't really be on. Okay, I think I do have my controls right, as we have Delhi Mosquito who has retired or rather disqualified from the formation lap, and the rest of the grid quite a mix. We've got all 3 compounds, dry compounds on the grid. Azun starting on the softs, pretty typical of him to do that. And while we have fairly an equal split between, almost an equal split I believe, between the hards and the softs and the medium runners, so especially the front row. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of a launch do VFix and Redstone have, for that matter. And so does GRL well anyway, because P3 would be a nice place to tuck into the slipstream of the car ahead and gain that extra bit of overspeed rather and make any kind of moves onto turn 1. As let's see how these drivers fare, as they are, VFix is just trying to get some temperature onto his tires. Alright, so I think, they are a couple of drivers who are rather detached from the grid, but they hope they have caught up, right? Abhi Shrikant Das, the last driver to get his car, and let's see, it is very soon another disqualification for. Okay, why? Okay, please do not. Yeah, sync well. Yes, as there are 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out and away we go. V6 gets a good launch and so does Redstone. In fact, Redstone gets an even better launch. He's wheel to wheel with V6. Please game, give me a better angle. Seeing V6 does hold his position as well anyway. Wants to challenge Redstone to turn 1. And Redstone still holds that P2. A lot of happening behind. Is there anything happening that behind? I think fairly drivers cleanly navigating, making sure that they take their car easy for the first lap. It's a long race to go, 36 laps, while the Ferrari and the Aston Martin of Jishnu, and I'm not sure who that is. Oh, late braking by the Ferrari driver, almost comes into the drives into the Aston Martin, but he makes that move stick there as going back to the lead. V6 is being chased by Redstone Dub, 4.5 tenths separating the two. Well, anyway, right for tucked in behind them. Quick Killer. I'm not sure if the gaps are just how they are because it looks like Quick Killer is further away from the Alfa Romeo driver, but the top 5 are fairly pretty close to each other, while the McLaren of Oxidized Rage also wants to get involved and is eager. And was that a moment from Redstone Dub? Redstone Dub did, I believe, have a moment, got squirrely at the exit of the final corner. Now is being challenged by the Alfa Romeo who pulls onto the inside and is still sticking his car on the inside. And does Redstone Dub fight? The Alfa Romeo driver won't have the best of lines, but they are almost wheel to wheel. Who gets the better exit? Redstone up on those hard tires would be struggling for traction, but he does get a good run. But DRL has made the move stick. While there is a lot of action right behind from P4 to P5, 6 and 7 as Quick Killer runs just a bit wide for comfort and might just get threatened by Abhishek, Jishnu and the McLaren of Oxidized Rage behind, while Deadly Mosquito and Shrikant Das are also involved in a battle. So I think this was the duo that were battling earlier. Right, as Quick Killer and Oxidized Rage has DNF'd, so something happened here. I have missed what happened. I think it was a spinner. Well, I surely think it was some kind of a ripple effect that we had. Let's see if any of these drivers jump into the pits. All of them, the top 4 are fairly alright. So I think Quick Killer should be heading into the pits. Yes, he doesn't have a front wing, and so he probably lost his car somewhere, which caught Oxidized Rage, and his race has come to a premature end. Well, lap 3 and we already have a safety car. So Mexico, a track where you can get some kind of safety cars. Pretty not a surprise, but these drivers have gone 2 laps without any kind of assist. So that's kudos to all of you there with not making much of contact with each other. That was well held for all of you. But unfortunate for Quick Killer and Oxidized Rage, and Azun is probably out of pits on a set of hard tires, so he wants to get rid of the softs, which he probably, if I were in his cockpit, I would have probably done one more lap on those softs before the safety car, behind the safety car, and then boxed and probably had 1 lap pressure rubber. But yep, he knows his car, his driving better than I do, so I'm sure there are still 33 laps to go and probably 31 laps of green flag racing if we are not to see any more safety cars. But we're all about to find out as VFix comes very close to the safety car there. You really don't want to do that, VFix, do you? Alright. Alright, I am going to use this opportunity to just take a quick break, and I will be right back with you viewers. Alright, Azun is in the pits now for a set of medium tires. So in lap 4, he has used all the different compounds available to him. So the tire compound mandate is out of the picture for him. But probably would have to box for a set of hards towards the end, but that really puts him on an advantage because he is on 3 laps fresher rubber than the rest of them, and pretty much very much on the same strategy. So yep, I think mediums to hards was his plan, and probably that is the reason why he wanted to go on a set of hard tires on the first lap behind the safety car. So yep, that all adds up, and you do know your driving and strategy better than I do. Good luck to you, Azun. Alright, so since he hasn't been able to catch up, so we have another lap behind the safety car. So, and oops, I think there was no front wing for Mestre there. And that is probably why he is in the pits. Yes, he is getting a front wing change, and he comes onto the hot tires. Alright, finally we do have the message that safety car is in this lap. So let's ride on board with well anyway and see when VFix decides to pounce, as the safety car is still to approach the pit lane. So I think from the looks of it, he does want to take it to the line. Hasn't gone yet, but well anyway is rather very eager to go, and so are the others right behind. Quite a pile-up, and VFix has gone, which has got a lot of drivers almost side by side. So we are definitely going to see a lot of action. As drivers trying to get temperatures up into their tires, cold tires, and really need to be careful on turn 1. There are a couple of drivers going 2 wide, almost 3 wide there. The Ferrari of Deadly Mosquito and Shrikant Das, and I'm not sure is that Azun probably, who has to cut the corner and take avoiding action so as to not get into the way of anybody, as the rest of the drivers have clearly made it out, but there is one driver rather very slow, and that is Quick Killer. So Quick Killer not having the best of times there, so probably the driver who went on to the grass, but coming back, VFix has almost an 8/10 lead to the Alfa Romeo, and who is under a lot of attack from the hard runner of Redstone Derp and the Williams, and a spinner of Jishnu And Vishnu being mindful there, letting all the cars pass, just getting early. Oh shit. Just getting early on power there, on throttle there, and he has lost the car and a massive lock up there. I think that was quick killer. So I'm not sure if braking markers have been vanished. I might have to drive on board with someone, but getting back to this battle for the race victory, as the top four, I think the top three are within 1.5 seconds. So Quick Killer has retired from the session and he has retired in the pitlets, I believe. So no safety car there for us, as VFix taking full control and controlling the narrative here for Mexico. And Quick Killer has also left the session, so he doesn't want to do any more racing as there. But there is the other Mercedes, his counterpart, who does want to get involved in a lot of racing and has made a move on the Aston Martin of Shrikant Das, who has run wide for some reason, I believe. And he has also spun his car, while there was another Aston Martin, I think this was Jishnu, who just obliterated those S's. So the drivers definitely try finding it challenging on those no assists, and it most certainly is a humor moment for me. So yeah, it's fun to watch, as there is a yellow flag as Deadly Mosquito has lost his car. Where? Oh, I think did he overshoot the corner? I think he did overshoot the braking zone, and just to take avoiding act, just took the escape route so as to not damage his front wing. But this is the battle we need to look out for, as Jishnu and Abhi are side by side, and Abhi has led Jishnu through, or Jishnu just makes the move on the inside, as Redstone Derp gets the first time penalty for track extensions in the race. But we need to keep an eye out on these drivers, as GRL well anyway is certainly putting a lot of heat on VFix, and he would also have the DRS. I think this is the third lap. We'll find out. Yes, he does. The DRS is open for him, as now he approaches down to the final sector. A tricky hairpin there. Redstone Derp also following suit there, as I think we can drive on board for this lap with these drivers, and we just gets a bit squirrely at the exit of the final corner, which will invite, and it is a very long straight. I'll be more than eager to see what kind of straight line speeds these drivers have, but the V6 is really with a good strong straight line speed setup, but that DRS boost is most certainly helping well anyway, who locks up into turn 1, a heavy lock up on the right front, as VFix 3.5 tenths separated the two. Redstone Derp just falling off a bit. Will he challenge him down at this second straight? No, it is a tricky middle sector now, very difficult to overtake despite a short DRS stretch right here in the final sector as well, or just towards the end of the middle sector rather, as while this is the battle we might need to watch out for, because the rest of the field is fairly spaced out from each other, and we are poised for a lot of action between them. Let's see, as Azun has also climbed up quite a lot of paces, as VFix just misses the apex of that corner, and alright, let's go around another lap and see if we have the braking markers on point for these drivers, because if they can't see the brake markers, it's going to be hard. But Redstone Derp is probably deploying a lot of battery or has a lot of straight line speed, and rather those battles just appeal me than having a look at those braking boards. But it looked like those braking boards were most certainly missing, and I think that is a spinner of Azul. Was it? Or was it Abhishek? I think that was Abhishek who is falling a lot of positions, but let's come back to what's happening here. Interesting battle going to brew between these three. So let's see how this unfolds. As Azun also finds himself in P4, so that is certainly a good climb and keeping his head straight, making sure he keeps his car on the track, unlike Jishnu for the moment, as he also gets probably another time penalty, but will be hot on Smith Shah. So expect him to make a move on the start finish straight. As let's coming back to the leaders. Let's see if there's any kind of changes that will happen over here as well. Anyway, also sets the fastest lap of the race right now, but he doesn't look to bother VFix in any way, shape or form, but might just come under some kind of an attack from Redstone, because probably anyway compromising for the straight line speed for a better setup so that he can navigate his way better in the middle sector, and that is probably where he gains that time on Redstone as well. So 7/10, 8/10 is the gap, 9/10 is the gap between these two drivers in the middle sector, as Shrikant Das and Abhi side by side. Oh, Abhi runs into the back of Shrikant Das, and Shrikant Das finds his car facing the wrong direction, and Abhi finds himself without a left end plate, and not the best of news there for any of these drivers, as Shrikant Abhi, in the spirit of true fair racing, lets Shrikant Das by, and which is always a good sight to see, and might also be going back into the pits as Jishnu is still behind. And Jishnu has made a move on a Smith Shah, who almost grazes the wall, and so does Abhishek, who are side by side going into the start finish straight, and Abhishek makes that move with the DRS assist. Smith Shah tucking into that strip stream and probably having some kind of a straight line speed there, as Deadly Mosquito overtakes Shrikant Das, who doesn't have a front wing. So it is most certainly the race proving pretty challenging for these drivers, and it is very challenging indeed. No questions asked there, as Jishnu is trying to make amends for his spin a few laps ago, and is making Azun sweat a little harder, as Azun not breaking much of sweat, on the contrary, as these drivers are just following the suit, and which might just be good news for Redstone, because he's on the hard tires and he would definitely going longer, as Deadly Mosquito has retired from the session. And where is that? Is that a safety car? Yes, that is a safety car. And oh, it's at that tricky hairpin where you tend to get early on your throttle. That is another safety car for us, and a good time for the medium runners to dash into the pit, as Deadly Mosquito's car is now not anymore on the map. So expect all the medium runners, but VFix and well anyway, yeah, alright, so they probably crossed the safety cars, so all the drivers driving under the delta, and expect both the front runners to be boxing this lap. So yep, Redstone Derp might just become our provisional leader for the race, and the two Red Bulls in formation, and there can be some kind of strategy and tactics that could be playing with Smith Shah holding drivers behind, but I think VFix and well anyway might just come out ahead of Smith Shah as they head out of the pits, as Shrikant Das has retired from the session. at the final corner where he had spun during qualifying, I think. Well, Srikandas, that again is a very premature end to your race, but you have always have the option to join the comms box if you really want to, and give me some company. That'll anyway. So we fix as expected and well anyway in the pits, and they come out of ahead of Misha. They do. Alright, so it's a Red Bull sandwich in the top four. V6 and well anyway, so drivers just exchanging their positions. These three drivers per se, as Azun has also come out on a set of hard tires on the right moment, so just one lap older tires to the likes of V6 and well anyway, but that is anyway. He is a pit stop behind, so he would really love to have another safety car somewhere around lap 22 or 23 and go on a set of mediums, or lap 21 to 23, somewhere around that, and they go on a set of mediums to the end of the race. That might just put him on a faster tire, and yes, choke job indeed. Well done, Srikanth. That was a choke job into two, you may call it, because I believe you did the same thing pretty much during qualifying as well. So that's a pretty much a dreaded corner for you. Some more practice might just get in, some more hard sweat might just go in to nail that exit. But anyway, coming back to well anyway, who is also very much in a good position in the race. These three expect some kind of a tactical game between these three drivers in terms of when to make the move, or trying to force their other driver into making an error, as they are most certainly are running pretty much different setups, because well anyway does seem to get a good drive in the middle sector, which is rather twisty and turny, and that higher amount of downforce does help his cause there, but with that comes a price of straight line speed, and that compromise is something that he has taken, but it is certainly paying him, keeping him at a good place in the race. And V6 as well, the net race leader, having boxed, and Redstone though, for him to come back and challenge for the race victory, he would love to see a safety car coming, another safety car rather. But let's see how the remaining 21 laps pan out for us, as there is an Alpha Tauri. Okay, alright, Srikanth, you might just have to join the session back as well. So let me just add you to the party. There is an Alpha Tauri of Abhi that is probably still has to wait. Has to catch up to the pack. Sorry viewers, I'm just a bit struggling for controls after coming back after some time, if not a lot. But alright, let's invite Srikanth Das to the party, and hopefully he can also give us some action and give me some respite, some good comms, not action. He has already given the stream a lot of action, and now he could give us some comms. And welcome to the comms box, Srikandas. Can you hear me? Okay, I think the party is still loading for him if he hasn't joined in fully. Yep, I think hopefully whenever he is in, he would be able to take us, but let's get prepared to get the race. Hi Srikanth, welcome back. So why don't you take us through this safety car restart?
Yep. Yeah. So
And
now
we'll talk
Redstone
about
is
your race
backing
after.
Yeah. Yeah. So now Redstone is backing everyone up. So the safety car restart point, he might take it to the line because there's a huge straight in front and the tow will be immense, and so he would prefer to take it late.
Yep, and it looks like he will, but maybe he wants to take an exit at this corner. Is he taking that exit? And he
Oh my
does,
God!
and he
He
loses his
almost had a
car.
moment,
Yep, all yours, Srikandas.
and he jumps and he fixes under pressure from well anyway, and he's weaving to warm up his tires, and I don't think Redstone will keep up with his lead because 16 lap old hards, he will suffer a lot.
Meanwhile, we want to go back
And
to the Red Bull of Smith Shah has had a major moment.
and Smith has won. Very
Oh,
unfortunate for him.
that is most certainly an unfortunate moment for Smith Shah. But going back to the lead, Redstone Derp is also under a lot of attack from V6, who is almost kissing the res of
And
Redstone
there's a
Derp.
Mercedes going wide. Azun went wide and gave position to Jishnu and Abhishek. Unfortunate for him, and well anyway. And Redstone spun. Oh my God.
Oh, barriers being broken.
Unfortunate.
I think people taking avoiding action. Almost drivers three wide. There's an Aston
And
Martin of Jishnu that is very opportunistic and makes a few positions and is right behind. Well, anyway, there. And GRL, oh, is that Deadly Mosquito? Oh, that's VFX, right? Sorry. The other Ferrari. I think Deadly Mosquito has DNF. But that was rather very intense what was going on there as Redstone Derp has not had the best of safety car restarts. So tell us about your qualifying and the race, Srikanth. How did those corners
uh,
treat you?
in qualifying, I was catching my car and then locked up, and that was so close from Jishnu and well anyway. And VFX is putting pressure on Jishnu. Jishnu with pressure and faster tires. Not pressure, but faster tires. He is keeping up with well anyway.
He is, but I do hear signs of locking up. But yeah, tell us about your story. I think we'll give the viewers this action they will enjoy unless we get some unless the
I
battle gets
lost it
spicy.
at yeah. I lost it at final corner in quali and race both. And in quali, I was trying to catch up my rear, and then locked up and straight on went to barrier. And in race, I was changing my MFD, and then I was distracted and straight on. That was a typical level choke job from me.
Yep, and probably not the best of corners to make any changes in your MFD, don't you think?
Yeah, that was some noob level stuff from me. And the field is pretty spaced out. Jishnu with 6 lap old mediums. Do you think he can take it to the end? He and Abhi.
It is pretty much an ask for these drivers to take those mediums. They might be
And
risking.
he almost loses his rear, Jishnu.
And he is holding behind, which is going to help well anyways cause a lot, because VFix does have the straight line speed and he would want to pull away as much as he can, but Jishnu is definitely not making it easy for well anyway. He is still tucked in behind, and I think we will have DRS enabled at the end of this lap. And as the Williams of Abhishek has probably had a rather quiet and a lonely race. He's just been keeping his nose clean and had a few
And Redstone making
snaps.
moves from Abhi, and he overtakes Abhi before the stadium, and Abhi doesn't fight it, and well anyway goes fast at 120.1.
Yep, well, anyway, definitely having a
And
lot of pace as Azun comes
Azun
into the
is in the
pit.
pits,
Is that a
and he
front wing
goes on
change? No.
first.
Okay, that is a very interesting
Interesting
choice.
strat.
Yep,
And Jishnu
indeed.
is closing up on well anyway,
And
and
we
we
have
fix.
his red light flashing, so no battery for him to contend with. But V6 has
And
fallen
that is
two
too
by
close.
V6 has fallen out by 2 seconds, so that is also rather something. If V6 probably
Jishnu,
had a moment somewhere, I'm not very sure. But yep, he is getting back in roads where the counter is coming down. But Vishnu is taking some beautiful lines through those S's. Indeed, and that was a good run on well anyway, who himself was struggling a bit to find his rhythm through those corners, but Jishnu is rather looking feisty to take that race lead, and taking those mediums can't go to the end, Shrikant.
yeah, that's why just yeah,
That's
Jishnu
the
is
reason
like
why he's
very
on heavy
feisty to
mode push. Yep.
yep
Being with a
to
super
take the
aggressive
lead and
strategy.
pull away.
Yep, and probably get on a set of soft tires. If there's a safety car, that will be more the merrier. As now he
And he's
pulls.
going down the inside and makes the move, and he is ahead of well anyway. Can well anyway like come for a switchback at turn 3. He Jishnu is having the DRS,
Yep, it is a
and
double DRS in Mexico. Whoever is
yeah,
behind at the last corner at the detection line is the one who will get the benefit of double DRS, but well, anyway, definitely has a setup for the middle sector. And expect VFix to join this party very soon, while
yeah.
the Aston Martin driver will control the pace of the pack. Let's see if well,
And
anyway,
Jishnu gets another penalty.
yep, and that probably
He's
makes.
pushing way too much.
Yep, he would need to, and a safety car would really help his cause as well. Let's see, those tires will also die off much sooner than he'd want to.
And
But
there's
let's
a
see
yellow
how this
flag
goes.
for William Savabishets, and he's spun in the stadium section. He has recovered it well, and he has fallen off 6 seconds behind VFX. And VFX is in the DRS range of well anyway. He
And
has
closing
recovered from his
in with
mistake, I
that
guess.
straight line speed. So well anyway is in a soup right now, because though he is getting, he cannot afford to lose that DRS to the driver ahead, as Redstone Derp is in the pits for a fresh set of medium tires. So I'm not sure if he got a front wing change as well or not.
Wait, I
But
will check.
Smith Shah
No,
is
he has.
looking to make a move on Abhi, but chooses
Abhi,
to back out of that for this occasion. But can he line himself up in this double DRS? He is a few car lengths behind to be able to pose any kind of threat for this lap. But let's coming back to
oh,
the.
he breaks too late and locks up, and he almost rear ends Abhi.
Whoa. Thankfully, the drivers have their wings intact, which is always would be a good sight. And
And
Abhi
well,
is.
anyway, is on the gearbox of Jishnu. That was too close from him.
Yep, it is almost gearbox to front wing between these three drivers. But well, anyway, knows Jishnu doesn't have a lot of battery to contend with, and yes, the red light is also flashing, and so is the case for well, anyway. So that boost of straight line really is
And
needed,
covers
as
the
just
inside. Jishnu covers
yeah.
the inside. And they make
Okay.
contact, and well, anyway, they are side by side turn 2, and he rides the curve, and
But
his
he
exit is
probably does he
compromised
get
from
a
Jishnu.
good. Yep, he is his exit did get
And VFX
compromised
is on
there.
his tail, but he's too far to make a move. And he also breaks late and locks up. Oh my.
As
Azun
Azun
retired.
read from the session in the pits.
In the
So
pits. In the pits.
So he has given up on any kind of hopes on a safety car. Alright, so but this is a battle to look out for,
It
and
is a
let's
battle for
expect
the and well
Redstone
anyway gets a penalty.
To be catching up on Abhi Smith also very soon. He's got 13 laps and he might just be. He's probably a bit too far from
And yellow
Abhishek, but you never know.
is the Zoom's
Yep,
car.
yep, Azun's retired car and Codemasters at their best, getting
EA
out a
and
retired
Codemasters
car
get
out of
better.
it.
And
As
VFX is
yes,
out of the DRS range of well anyway. And well anyway is almost a second behind.
but
I
I
think
can see VFix's DRS flap open, and so is well anyway. So they were definitely under a second at that detection line, and well anyway definitely closes in on the middle sector. So this it's going to be a tactical game, Shrikant. I think in terms of when to make the move because. And VFix knows that, and VFix, I believe, is playing it very tactfully because he can see
yeah,
both
because the
those
guy is
drivers
ahead of him.
flashing with their red
Yep.
light. I mean, those drivers not flashing, but their red lights flashing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, that
And
correction was very
VFX
much
also knows
needed.
that yeah. VFX knows that drivers ahead of
No,
him have penalties and Jishnu is on medium tires, which is older than his hard tires. So he might take the win.
yeah, he possibly could if he can stick on to well anyway. But if you see that higher bit of downforce on that Alfa Romeo makes him get within the DRS of the Aston Martin and pull Beefix away from his DRS, and he has managed to do so. So, tactical battle won on this occasion for well anyway, he and Jishnu has a
And Jishnu
major
almost loses
moment
his rear.
which
And well
has
anyway overtakes
compromised.
him
Oh, and they are
and they
just
are close to him.
just well anyway trying
And
to
Jishnu covers off the inside and they
side.
make contact. Well anyway closes the door too early. I won't make assumptions but it looked like that and Jishnu loses two position in one corner.
Yep, not the
Is
best
his
of
wing
news for
intact?
Jishnu, and
Yep, his wing is intact.
that isn't definitely not great news for Jishnu. But yeah, he will get the DRS on VFix now, and he could probably pose some kind of threat. But he's on 12 lap old medium tires, so those tires, the life out of those tires have definitely gone, and expect him to probably box for a set of softs on lap 27 or 28.
He he might not because he will lose a position to Abhishek and
And
why will
maybe
he risk?
would he be able to, with the pace he has, he might just be able to. Do you think he would be able to catch up back to Abhishek on those soft tires?
No,
I mean, we
I
know.
don't think so. He won't have enough laps and if Abhishek don't make a mistake, he will be
As
and
well, in all this action, we definitely missed Redstone making moves here, and he has climbed those two positions to Smith and Abhi, while Jishnu and VFix are also very close, and all this battling is helping well anyway. Let's have a look at the penalty situations at the moment. Uh, Alright, 3 seconds of penalties for well anyway, and 6 seconds for
and Abhi in
Jishnu
the pits
and Abhi in the pits. Oh, is it?
for new mediums. Yep.
A fresh set of mediums going into that Alpha Tauri as Jishnu comes rather close to VFix and he wants to let him know that he's not budging and definitely would want to make that move. But let's see, now approaching the start finish straight, navigating through the final corner, powered down, DRS wide open for Jishnu. Is he going to make a move? VFix has that superior straight line speed, and he also knows that VFix does not have a lot of battery to contend with. and battery conservation is a major challenge. In fact, battery regeneration rather is rather difficult, but he is now closer than ever, and this
And
might
Redstone
just
goes
be the
fastest.
best time
194.
for him to make a
Yep.
move, and nothing doing on this occasion. But 2.3 is the gap between Well Anyway and VFix, and he just needs those 7 tenths and no more track extension penalties in these final few laps, and he would be on course for race victory.
Jishnu with those old mediums is like he's like treating them new mediums, and he almost makes a move on VFix, and he almost
And
loses his rear. He's too excited. That's definitely commentator's curse.
probably those tires begging him to
Yeah,
throw them back into the pits,
yeah. The
but he,
exit VFix had a better exit, and
yep, definitely those
hard
15,
tires are better than
14 lap
yep.
hard tires would definitely be giving him better grip than those 15 lap old mediums. And
And he
both
lost.
these
And
drivers running pretty much a similar straight line speed setup, I believe, and that getting that DRS edge, or rather, I mean, V6 is definitely on a super low wing, rear wing, but anyways, Jishnu is in the. This is the only battle, closest battle for us on the track. While Redstone, let's see what kind of inroads is he making every lap on. He is cutting away tenths every corner, so that's
yes, he
something to
is.
look out for towards the final couple of laps. Striking distance in 4 laps, AWS insights, or rather,
Yeah,
easy level bot insights.
yeah. And Jishnu
As
is again close to VFX. And as we can see, like VFX edges the sector one,
oh,
and he almost
Jishnu,
loses his rear. And
I think
as I
these are the
was,
signs that
yep,
his tire his tires are giving him that please take me to the
and
pits.
and if Jishnu pits now, he will come out near Redstone.
And VFix
So
is right now, oh, as I say it, that gap just inflated by a few tenths. As that gap was constant at 2.3, so very comparable pace between these two drivers as VFix is trying to claw those few tenths
and
back
Jishnu
as
gets
Vishnu
another
gets
time
another time
penalty.
penalty. Yep, he does.
Unfortunate for him.
So how has your experience around
Yeah,
Division Mestre de
no,
Tudo been?
yeah. Without assists, it's a whole new experience to drive, and it's more fun to drive. As you can see, there are comparatively less collisions because your attention is always on the track. Oh, and he almost loses his gear again. Jishnu, his tires. I, oh
But he
no,
doesn't want to
what is
give
he
up,
doing?
and
Yep.
I think he's just reducing those laps, those number of laps on which he wants to go on the soft tires. But please, Vishnu,
But
I hope you are not
he
looking to take this to the end of the race. Don't
as we are
risk a
speaking,
puncture.
Redstone was like 16 point something seconds last lap behind Abhishek's. Now he's 14 seconds behind. He's making crazy inroads on Abhishek's.
Yep, 2 seconds per lap. So he has, but he
And
has
Jishnu
a lot,
almost loses his rear again.
and
And
Redstone
Redstone
gets
gets another 3
a.
seconds.
So and he has a lot of penalties to contend with as well. So that's a 9 second 13 seconds, and he has to further make 9 seconds. So I think even if he makes that move on track, he might just lose that position too.
And is
And
the
there are,
ghosted
yeah,
car. Yep, Abhi, ghosted car.
and
And
there's a
there's a
return.
yellow flag.
Oh, yellow flag. Oh, yeah. I think that was
That's
for Abhi.
Abhi, he was slowing down. to give way for the faster cars.
Okay. As we fix Smith and Abhi, the only three drivers out of the remaining 7 to have no penalties, no track extension penalties whatsoever. And well, anyway, is also slowly and steadily pulling those
from
tenths
VFX.
away,
Yep.
but that straight at the end of the start finish straight, VFX tends to close in, but that's where the better turn in for a better turning ability for the Alfa Romeo just
And
gives him that
Redstone gets
edge.
another penalty.
Oh, that
Redstone
is
is
just.
really pushing the limits.
Yep, he is really pushing those limits, but
And
it
he
might
is
just.
12 seconds behind Abhishek.
Yep, if he keeps going this way, I hope he doesn't lose another position to Smith Shaw or doesn't get disqualified before that. But 5 laps to go, Redstone. Hopefully,
And Abhishek get another time penalty, 3 second worth of penalties.
that might just give Redstone a bit of encouragement.
Yep.
As well,
And
anyway, has also pulled away from.
created a safe gap from VFX. He's around a tenth ahead of VFX, and including his penalties. And he is out of battery, I guess. His red light is flashing.
Yep, so I think he decided to push. Now that and V6 has a lot of battery to play with, so
4 tenths. What?
yep, V6 has a lot of battery to play with, so this again is going to be a tactical battle that we are going to watch it to the end of the race. While Jishnu with this is definitely taking these medium tires to the end, and that might just put him at a risk of losing that P3. So let's have a look at the penalty situation again. He does have more penalties than Abhishek, and if Abhishek is able to close that gap in, that might just be good news for him, as he definitely can see the penalties. He just, yep, I think exceeded the track.
Yep. And again, focusing on Redstone, he is 10 seconds behind. He was 12, now he's 10. At the end, can you see him like a second or two behind Abhishek?
Well, you never know. He is certainly pushing a lot. And all these drivers are fairly spaced out as well, and no action much to follow, but
yeah, typical Mexico.
Composed driving, and not just, I mean, more adding to typical Mexico, it's the no assist that is bringing all the variability element into the picture, with all the drivers having a very different pace to
But still,
when not having
we
the
have seen
racing
some
line.
great battles.
Yep, that is indeed always good to see. In fact, drivers making it, navigating thoroughly turn one easily, cleanly, lap one, turn one, and that's always a good sight to see. As 3.5 is the gap now between the top two, and I want to keep an. Yep, and we pretty much know the tires these drivers are on, and they are going to take it to the end of the race. So let's keep an eye on these penalties and how, if well, anyway, gets a penalty now, gets a track extension penalty now, so he might really have to do a major push. But oh, just almost grazing the wall at the final corner there. But VFix definitely might just be on deployment mode. He does have 30 odd % battery to probably play with, as I can see on the dash, and you can see that gap to be 3.2. Yep, Redstone going fastest and also getting that 1
he's
point
8 seconds behind.
and also getting the DRS assist from the lapped car of Abhi, and he's just 7.9 seconds behind him. So, but he would eventually lose that position to Abhishek, who is also closing in on Jishnu. So does Jishnu have a puncher, or is he going to get a puncher? Is my question. He has
He
to.
might get a puncture because he's on 21 lap over mediums, and that's the puncture territory for medium tires. So
Yep.
Jishnu would prefer not to hit the
And the
curb because
way
hitting the curb.
Abhishek is closing, so that might just pretty much be uh,
Yeah, wait.
might
So
just pretty much be the.
yeah, Abhishek needs to like uh, gain 7 tenths on Jishnu to claim
And
that
he has
podium.
2 laps to do that, and the way he's going, he
Yep.
might just be able to take that position on track. So sorry to say, Jishnu, but that looked like penny wise, pound foolish, my friend. That might just not end
That
well.
strategy did not pay off well.
Yep, and quite a lot of learning for him that he would be taking home in terms of strategy and what he can do to get more points and compete in this, keep competing in the championship. So
And moving on to the leaders, the gap is pretty constant. They are keeping it between 3.6 to 3.8.
yeah, but
Do you think
expect,
V6 will go for a final push and Jishnu
yes, he will
over here?
expect, he has, there is a yellow
And well,
flag,
anyway, loses his car and gives the position to V6.
and he
Very
would want to
unfortunate
take
for
over.
him.
Oh, that is not
My
what he
God,
would have
that
wanted.
was
He had driven a brilliant race all throughout, and now expect full deployment from V6. He has got a lot of battery, so he would have been. I think V6 would have could have had that straight line speed to do a full push. He is deploying his battery now. Full. It is the last lap, of course. He can't. He's not going to take any energies. He's not going to waste any kind of horsepower that he can get. And he is, look at that gap increasing. It is 1.9,
and yep,
2.1, and
2.1.
that shows the straight line speed uh,
And
advantage.
focusing on the P3 and look how it's looking now. Abhishek has taken the P3 away from Jishnu,
Yep,
and
it
it's
he
very unfortunate. Yep, not on track by adding up the penalties. Yep.
yeah, yeah, indeed, indeed. And you never know, he might just be able to take it on track. There is a half a lap to go, precisely 1.5 sector, not precisely, but somewhere around 1.5 sectors now that we are coming towards the end of the middle sector. And Vishnu really struggling. Well, anyway,
Just bringing it home.
having driven a brilliant race and very there was a lot of play of tactics between these drivers, and V6
And V6 on
Carter,
the final corner.
yep, taking
And he
home,
wins.
winning the Mexican Grand Prix THRL, well anyway, coming home to take
So P2
P2,
and
Jishnu
Jishnu
keeping it on the track, taking P3 on track, but losing it to Abhishek, and
by a second.
yep.
And Redstone comes home with P5 and Smith's is in sector 2.
And Abhi also
And
has
Abhi
finished.
crosses the line and he's P7.
All right, until we get through this, would you want to invite our
Yep, I am inviting.
podium finishers for a round of interviews, as this would be interesting. I mean, the kind of the race that we've had, a good time to ask our fellow drivers to tell us how it went for them. But anyway, as we wait for Smith Shah to cross the line, which he does, and that is the end of the Mexican Grand Prix in the Hybrid Theory Racing League division of Mestre de Tudo. So, muy interesante or very interesting in Espanol, as V6 doing his stance, taking the first place in the podium. A good drive by well anyway in the Alfa Romeo. Abhishek, no, having just keeping his nose clean, making a couple of mistakes here and there, but still driving a good race. As we fix, well, anyway, Abhishek's our podium finishers, Jishnu, Redstone, Smith, and Abhi, the only rest of the finishers of the race, as Azun, Srikandas, Deadly Mosquito, Quick Killer, and Oxidized Rage, having a premature end to the race. Alright, I hope the game gets me out pretty soon, but
Yeah.
it was a migrating host situation, so I might just have
Yep.
to. What would I have to do? Oh no, it is ending soon, so thank you.
Yep.
We thank our stars. As what did you make out of it, Shrikant? The race, how did you like
Yeah.
it?
Without racing line is quite fun, and we have seen some interesting battles. And turn one was quite clean from like normal divisions,
Yep, it was. I mean,
because there is
keeping
one less distracting thing.
yeah the racing line, is it?
Yep.
Yep, and drivers being extra mindful watching those brake markers. But I don't know how long those brake markers survive this time around. As now we wait. I hope you have invited all our
Yep. Yep. I
podium.
have invited. Yep.
All right. Just keep an eye on Discord as well if there's anybody who's not. But anyway, we'll just give them a couple of minutes before we start with the podium interviews as well. Anyway, has also joined the party, and we wait for Abhishek's also to grace us with his presence in the comms box. All right. Anyway, let's start with well anyway in the Alfa Romeo. So, well anyway, congratulations on this P2. I hope your audio sharing settings are on and you can hear me very well. As Abhishek has also joined the party, so that's also good. So, but we'll keep continuing. So, well anyway, a good race for you, but an unfortunate end in that final lap. So take us through your race. How was it, and how are your feelings right now?
So the first thing I want to say is I really don't understand that spin because I took that curb several times in the race in the exact same way, and that one time I just spun.
Well,
Welcome to EA and Codemasters. Well, anyway.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, well, the game has given us a lot of inconsistencies there. Yep, a lot of people have complained, but it looked like a big tactical battle for the first half of the race, between the top three of you, until Redstone, just that error cost him a lot of positions and eventually was not to be really seen in the battle. But a heavy, it looked like a tactical battle between you and VFix, and probably you having a setup more tuned towards for the middle sector, giving you that edge away. So how were you planning all those last few laps of the race? Was it anything, or were you just kept went on pushing every lap?
As you just mentioned, I did have my setup set for the middle sector, so I was just full sending it in the middle sector because I knew I could get away with it because the setup was made for that, and using all my overtake on the main straight, I'm basically just hoping for the best.
Well, if not the best, but P2 is not away from the best. A great drive by you. We most certainly enjoyed it. Congratulations on your P2. Shrikant, any questions for him?
Yeah, well, anyway, can you let me through the collision with you and Jishnu?
Basically, he took the lead on medium tires. He was leading for a while. Then he lost it on the exit of turn 2, I think. Then he was ghosted. and I was inside him heading into turn 3, like he was a ghost, and then he kind of just pulled to the left, and I assumed that he was still a ghost, so I turned in, but in that split second between being inside him and him going to the left, he just unghosted in that split second, so I hit him.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him and you. So, anyway, a nice race from you and hard luck for that half spin.
All right, moving on to P3 finisher, uh, which Abhishek. So a good race, probably
Hello.
nowhere to be seen in terms of didn't you thought of not taking a lot of attention on this race and just keeping your nose clean and ending up with a P3. So congratulations on that. Why don't you take us through your race?
Well, it was quite a lonely race for me, I think, like throughout the race because I had the pace not to keep up with the top three, but to be ahead of the rest of the field. So I was just stuck somewhere in between. And whenever I did have like a chance to be close to the top three, I spun twice. So I knew my chance to stay close to them was gone then because I was not going to be in their DRS either. And I was just, I knew Jishnu had to pit to mediums because he, the safety car timing was not good for him. And I was just I was praying that his tires fall off towards the end, and they did. And I was able to keep it clean and just, yeah, get ahead of him through penalties.
Well, indeed. So great race anyway, Abhishek. I think irrespective, it was a lonely one, but making sure you stick on to your pace, and with those minimum time set penalties, you did make the jump. So congratulations on that. I just missed out on a bit of it. Shrikant, any further questions or anything for you
No,
to?
no questions from him, and congrats on a great drive and recovery from all that spinning.
Thank you.
Alrighty, fantastic. So let's go to our race winner, VFix. After quite a hold, we are finally to you for your podium interview. So, yep,
Yo,
great victory, good drive, good consistent drive, no penalties at all whatsoever, and looked like a lot of tactics being deployed throughout the race. So, why don't you tell us about all of it?
yeah, I mean, first of all, before I begin, commiserations to Well because I know how he spun, and that is a very RNG corner. So that's just Cody's and the Cody's inning, for a lack of a better phrase, happening right there. But yeah, I mean, in terms of my race, I really didn't know how to drive the track without racing line, to be honest, because you hardly ever do it, like normally anyway, and then that too without racing line. So I was just trying to figure out, even I think like lap 9, 10, I was trying to figure out where all the breaking points are on heavy fuel. Uh, so I knew that my setup was just meant for a straight inshallah because I didn't trust myself in the corner, so I just decided to trim all of the downforce down and just hit it on the straights so that my cornering, which wasn't the best, would be covered up by it, and it was working for a long point. I think I would have kept well behind if I was ahead of him, but unfortunately, after that safety car restart, Redstone just spun right in my path, and then as soon as I took avoiding action, he ghosted. So everybody else just went straight through after that. So after that, I was trying to catch up to Well, but his pace was just a bit too much for me to risk losing P2. So I just decided to kind of pack it in the last few laps. But unfortunately, he spun, so I'll take the win uh, right there. I had one warning the whole race. That was when I was just laughing at some noob crashing at the last corner going straight on, which how did you do that? But yeah, uh, pretty fun and experience for sure.
Yep, it was. I mean, one warning, so that was That's a pretty much a flawless drive from you. So congratulations on that. So Shrikant, any counter to what VFix just mentioned?
No, no. I would agree to what we fixed said
All right.
because uh,
Right. So yeah, you have a co-commentator in the form of a steward as well. So that's quite. I'll respect you for your hard confessions, but let's see how that goes. No comments, no judgments passed right now without any kind of
I
evidence.
mean, it says a lot about him that confession is that his crash was still more legitimate than his opinions on the sport in general. But yeah, regardless of that, I think we're all sick of hearing about Shrikant's opinions on the sport. So let's just end this straight.
Yeah.
Indeed, and this banter will go on forever and forever, and we are going to take this just to Discord as we had an interesting Mexican Grand Prix weekend, and I most certainly had fun. And thank you, Srikant, for giving me that company and crashing out rather, and giving me that company on the comms
yeah,
box.
thanks.
And it was a good race until next week. All right, this is me signing off from the stream.
Yeah.